My name's Rebecca Tyson and I am a recruitment manager of a recruitment company. The best thing about my job is getting people jobs, I'd say. People come to us because they want a job, and finding them a right job for them is probably the best thing about my job. The best thing about running my own business is being able to have a real influence on how the business grows and make my own decisions about how to do things in the business. The hardest thing about my job is probably the management of the accounts and the running of the actual business and cash flow and understanding profit and loss and how to manage that properly. The worst thing, because it's a small company, the worst thing about running my own business, because it's a small company, is probably having to do everything. So from filing to answering the phones to understanding the accounts, replying to emails, so having to do everything. It's quite difficult. The advice I'd give to someone looking to start up their own business is to not be naive and to understand everything about the business that you're going into, your competition, the general running of a business, how to manage people. They're all pretty things that I find difficult that I'd advise people to get to know about.
Fantastic.
The average salary for recruitment is quite varied because normally for a recruitment consultant you would normally be on a basic salary, and you're then, the ball's in your court then as to how much you actually earn, as to how many placements you make. So you know, I think the general basic for a recruitment consultant would be around quite low, say probably 20-25,000 a year, but then depending on what, you know, on what placements you make, you could earn up to 70-80,000. But that's really if you're very good at your job, I'd say. Obviously I went to school, got my GCSEs, I then moved schools, went to college and did A-levels. Then I went to university. I actually didn't do as well in my A-levels as I wanted to. I planned on doing pharmacy at uni. That's what I was gearing towards. I did chemistry, geography and maths, but I didn't get the grades that I needed. So at that time it was a bit of a panic. But I ended up doing a course, environmental science, which I actually really enjoyed. It was more on the geography side of things, geography, chemistry, so it fitted in with my A-levels. And I really enjoyed the course. It was all about, well, there's all different kinds of environmental things. Contaminated land, pollution, climate, all different kinds of things. And then I ended up doing, with my course, most people, in order to get into a field similar to that, you need to have an additional qualification. So whilst I was at university, there was an offer, because there was a new master's course out which was called a Masters of Enterprise, and that was partly business and partly science, and it was funded because obviously to do a master's is quite expensive. So we got funded to do it, so I did a master's then after my degree, which was in so it was called a Master of Enterprise, which was, the idea was to bring you into like the entrepreneurial side of things, with the idea that, you know, whatever scientific idea you had, you could bring it together into a business. So I did that, and then I got a job in environmental consultancy in Manchester, and I worked there for 8 years. I worked my way up to team leader. So I just started as a graduate and then worked my way up and had my own team by the end. And I did enjoy it. What I was doing was I was in their contaminated land team. So I was investigating contaminated sites before they get redeveloped into, say old petrol stations getting redeveloped, or old mills. Say, you know, there's a lot of old mills in Liverpool that get redeveloped into flats, and it was making sure that they were suitable for human, you know, for residential use. So that would involve taking soil samples and all kinds of different things. And writing reports, quite scientific reports. So I ended up doing that, and I did enjoy it, but the salary I was on there was, by the time I left, was 29,000. But there wasn't much scope for me to go much further, and I wasn't enjoying my job that much. And I suddenly thought, could I really do this for the rest of my life? So 2 years ago, when I was 27, I had a change, and I went to work for the family business, which is recruitment for childcare and for sheltered housing schemes for the elderly. That's what my mum does, that's what my mum and dad have done together for the last 20 years. And I just thought, really, family businesses are so, well run, successful family businesses are quite hard to come by now. And so I thought, I'll give it a go, and what have I got to lose, basically? So here I am now. I would definitely say work harder at my A-levels. The jump from GCSE to A-levels I found quite difficult, and I didn't probably work as hard as I should have at doing my A-levels. But on the other hand, I don't really have any other regrets on the choice of my course that I did and things like that, because at the time, that I was doing my degree, I wasn't ready to go and work with my parents, wasn't ready to go. I think I had to find my path and decide, at that time, that it wasn't the right thing for me to do. So I think I don't have any regrets on that side, and doing the masters with enterprise sort of helped me with the business side of things that I do now, but also working for the company that I worked for as an environmental consultant gave me experience on managing people and running the budget for a small team and things like that. So it all did help in what I'm doing now, I'd say.